Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz. We are live. Trevor here,
Yeah.
joined as always by Thomas. And we're talking about Cannes. We're here to talk about the Cannes International Film Festival. Should be a fun talk. Got lots of things to discuss.
Yeah, a
Um,
surprising amount of stuff here that we sort of
yeah,
knew about going in. There's quite a lot from quite big name directors, which will be very interesting to see both in competition and out of competition. Obviously, we'll be focusing more on the in competition stuff. It just tends to be the more interesting stuff you get here. But yeah, lots to talk about, 100%.
for sure, for sure. So we'll just kind of be running through all of this stuff in competition. And for the most part, just chatting about some of those types of things, and then we can talk about what are some of our personal favorites for the Palme d'Or, the big prize out there. So if you're ready, we can just jump straight in.
Yeah, yeah, let's go.
And start looking at some of this stuff. So first thing that we have isn't actually an in competition thing. Also, hello.
Hello.
First thing we have isn't in competition, I don't believe, but it is
No.
Jean Dubarry.
Yeah.
So this is by Mai Wen, starring Mai Wen alongside Johnny Depp. So already those are going to be conversations that will be had.
Exactly, yeah. This will be a very talked about film, which is, I guess, why they're maybe opening with it. You know, get a bit of
Yeah,
talk around, get a bit of buzz around the festival. Potentially, I don't think just because it is opening the festival is necessarily any testament to its quality or anything like that. So,
right.
like,
Well,
I'm not going to read too much into
the
that.
opening film usually isn't even that great.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So
They're not the highlight, but this is an interesting film nonetheless. Will be interesting to see how it's received, I guess.
yeah, I'm not expecting too much. My when I don't think like I haven't seen any of their previous films.
No.
It doesn't like I don't know. Nothing's really drawing me to this, but I'm
No, it just
curious
seems like it might
at
kind of
least.
be a fairly
I don't
standard
know.
period drama. I don't know if it will be
Yeah, I agree.
much
I mean, we
more
had
than
the
that.
trailer. It looks
Yeah,
fine. Johnny Depp's speaking in French, so
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I care very little, I guess, about this. So
sure, yeah,
yeah. Um. Okay. Let's get into in competition stuff. Let's talk about Club Zero by Jessica Hausner. Um, so this one it's starring Mia Wasikowska. It's the
yeah,
big, really American name in it. It's a teacher takes a job at an elite school and forms a strong bond with five students, a relationship that eventually takes a dangerous turn. Seems like a bit of a psychological thriller type beat. If we look at this filmmaker's previous stuff, um, some Little Joe was also at the Cannes
mm,
Film Festival, I believe, and got
yeah. I do
pretty
vaguely remember it. Yeah,
mixed reception. I remember hearing a lot of Yorgos comparisons. Um,
okay,
I haven't
interesting.
seen it, but like I heard it was like just very toned down, not as good Yorgos.
Okay,
So
yeah, and I guess with a concept like this as well, it could sort of, if it is sort of that style, like I could see this sort of concept fitting with that. But
yeah,
the concept does sound interesting. Like it's an interesting concept, so we'll see how this one
it
goes
sounds
down. We'll
interesting.
see
I
how
like Mia Wasikowska, generally. So I don't I'm not against this film, but like I'm going in with tempered expectations as far as like
yeah,
what we'll be seeing from the reviews. So
yeah, 100%, 100%.
okay. Let's talk about this one. The Zone of
This is a
Interest.
very interesting one. Yes.
I
I did not
am
expect to
very
get this
excited.
one here. So this is pretty
It
big.
felt more like a Venice thing, but it's
Yeah.
kind of coming early. Um so we got Sandra Hüller and Kristen Friedel, not super well-known actors, but it's Jonathan Glazer. So if you are not familiar with Jonathan Glazer, he's done some
Yeah.
things. Okay, he is an established director to say the least. If we just take a quick look at his filmography, things like Under the Skin, Sexy
Yeah.
Beast,
Those would
um,
probably be his two most prominent, I
yeah,
reckon.
Birth
Yeah.
as well, like did quite well. Like, I mean, and looking at this from like Oscars perspective, like I don't think these films have done that well, but like Under the Skin, like it started picking up actors hype as far as like with like critics
Yeah.
groups and stuff and like the spirit. So like he's always been kind of in and around the conversation, never really had anything in, but his films are always very well critically received, and he doesn't make them that often.
No,
So
exactly. This is another World War II film. It's interesting. We seem to be getting quite a lot of them this year, but I'm assuming with a name like Jonathan Glazer, this will be
it's not
something
going to be your
completely different.
standard World War II
No,
movie.
exactly. So yeah, very interesting. This one, as I said, didn't expect it. I didn't know if this will be a Palme d'Or type of thing, especially with the voting system jury. Like, it won't necessarily be for everyone. I'm not entirely
Yeah,
sure. So yeah, it could be a little more divisive potentially, but I'm
I
sure the
agree.
people who
Oh,
do like it will love it. So
this screams device. I mean, look at this premise. A Nazi
yeah.
officer stationed at Auschwitz becomes enamored with the camp commandant's wife, and apparently he shot this from like a bunch of different perspectives and is like playing with perspective and like it seems very interesting. It seems very art house. Again, not a standard World War II type thing. It's going to be incredibly divisive.
Mm.
I'm very hyped for this. I'm one, a pretty big fan of Jonathan Glazer, and two, this seems very much like my type of thing.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this. I agree. I don't know how much of a Palm thing will be, and by extension, how much of an awards contender it will be.
Mm.
But I'm just excited for the film. I think it will be pretty great. So
Yeah, yeah.
Also A24. I think this is their only
It
representation.
is A24. Yeah, I mean, they could pick up something from the festival, obviously, but yes, from what I recall, this is their only
I
major one
also
in
think
competition.
that there's rumors that I saw the TV Glow, Jane Schoenbrun's new film, who did We're All Going to the World's Fair. I think there's
Okay,
rumors that her new film will be at like the Directors Fortnight or Critics Week or something like that. So
right,
we could
cool.
maybe be seeing that, which I would love. That was one of my favorite movies last year. Was in my top 10. So really would love that. Okay, let's talk about this one. Fallen Leaves by Aki Kaurismäki. That's a rough name to say, but I'm quite excited for this film. I really am. It's 80 minutes.
Yeah,
And it
which
just
is
seems like
great.
this like quick, tight, like drama D, maybe a bit of D at the end of it, but definitely drama. It's the film tells the story of Ansa, a supermarket shelf stalker on a 0-hour contract, later a recyclable plastic sorter, and a Jalapa, a sandblaster, an alcoholic, later an ex-alcoholic, whose paths have accidentally crossed and who, despite adversity and misunderstanding, tried to build some kind of relationship on the harsher side of welfare state. Like it feels very dramedy. It feels very like kind of like Nordic, like dramedy type of thing, like Worst Person in the World or something of
Yeah,
that sort. It feels like that to me.
yeah. I mean, it looks very political based on the concept, which is also
Mhm.
going to be, cool. I'm not too familiar with the director, but I have heard a bit of buzz about this film more generally. So yeah, definitely one to look out for here at the festival.
Yeah. So the director, he's done quite a few films. La Havre is like a big one. The Match Factory Girl. So like all of them are pretty well received in general.
Yeah.
And it seems to be pretty positive buzz around him as a filmmaker, but hasn't really had anything to cross over into like even like the American like art house sphere too much. But overall, like I know I have pretty good feelings overall about this movie.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely, definitely.
I think it just I don't know. It feels like my type of thing. I could also see this being a potential Palm contender.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like a lot of things in competition, like they're in competition for a reason. They're
Right.
probably not going to be terrible. You don't get too many like proper stinkers that can.
Well,
Whereas you can, like Venice and TIFF, I think you are more open to sort of badly reviewed films, whereas Cannes feels a bit more sort of critically acclaimed, a lot of them. So
yeah,
yeah, but this is just another one to look out for. Yeah, and as you say, potential Palme d'Or
for
contender.
sure. Got a Kaurismäki fan in the house. Yeah, I really want to watch some of his films before getting into this because like
Yeah.
just scrolling through some of them on Letterboxd, like it's he seems like a very interesting filmmaker that I would be very into. So yeah, for sure. Okay, let's talk about Four Daughters, by Kauter Ben Hanya. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
It's between light and darkness stands Olfa, a Tunisian woman, and the mother of four daughters. One day, her two older daughters disappear. To fill in their absence, the filmmaker invites professional actress and invents a unique cinema experience that will lift the veil on Olfa and her daughter's life stories. Like this okay, this is such a weird comparison to make, but like The Rehearsal.
Sure, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it feels weird. It feels very experimental. It feels very like let's explore the actual medium of film. So could be something that a lot of critics take to. I'm not sure, but yeah, could be an interesting thing
It
nonetheless.
once again seems like something that I'm going to love.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems very, very interesting. It's listed as a mix between documentary and drama on Letterboxd.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it's docu-fiction. It seems very fascinating. I love docu-fiction. So like, I don't know. It seems kind of cool. I could see this getting like amazing reviews. It's not gonna be. It doesn't feel like the type of thing that would be like a palm contender or
No.
like an award season player. But I could see this being like high up on like a lot of like critics list by the end of the year.
Yeah. I'm assuming this will probably get like a good Metacritic score, for example.
Yeah. Seems like just a good film. Then we got
Here they go. This is one of the
Asteroid.
bigger ones. One of the bigger ones premiering.
Like, I don't think
competition.
I think most of us here have seen the trailer. I don't think I
Yes.
really need to read through the
Yeah.
plot here. It's the Junior Stargazer Convention. Listen,
Yeah. Do
I
you want to
am a
read through the
massive Wes
cast?
Anderson film.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, sorry. We'll just scroll through this cast. Do you
Yeah,
need to
all
click
of them.
show all? Do we need to click show all here? Like,
Yeah, probably. May as well.
Did you really want me to? Here we go. Show all. There's
Okay,
everybody.
yeah, there you
It's
go.
not too much. Yeah, but yeah, like wow. I will say I do have a bit of a theory about this. So since we didn't see like Willem
Okay.
Dafoe or like Margot Robbie in the actual trailer, I think they're going to play aliens.
Ooh, that could be interesting. I mean,
And like
Willem
Tilda
Dafoe's
Swinton
bound to
too.
play an alien at some point this soon, you know.
Yeah.
So
Like we didn't see Margot or Willem
we didn't see
Dafoe or
Margot.
like Tilda
Yeah.
Swinton in the trailer. So I
So
feel like
either they're aliens or they're in the film for like 10 seconds. So
right, like Saoirse
you know.
Ronan and French Dispatcher.
Yeah,
She's literally there
yeah.
for like 30 seconds. Either that,
Yeah.
but how fun would it be to be like you have like a alien group of like Jeff Goldblum, Margot Robbie, Willem Dafoe, and Tilda Swinton. Like how fun would that be? To have they just play aliens. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I know. I'm hyped about this movie. Grand Budapest Hotel was like one of the movies that like got me into film. So I'll always have a soft spot for Wes Anderson. I love him. Thomas doesn't.
I don't love him. And this does look like quite a Wes Anderson film. I feel like just he's in the phase of his career where he's not really trying to make films for audiences. He's just making the films he wants to make, and I do respect that. But a lot of times his style just does slightly rub me the wrong way. I don't think this will be his biggest Oscar contender. It's just the concept. It doesn't scream that. Like Grand Budapest Hotel, even though it is at its core a Wes Anderson film, it did sort of have that Academy appeal. I don't know if this film will quite have that, and therefore I don't know if it will be a Palme d'Or contender
it's
either.
Long. It's 2 hours 20.
It's long, yeah. And these sort of bigger American ones don't tend to win the Palme d'Or or haven't recently. So like this May, December we'll get to. I don't know if they'll be winning this.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time like an American film.
Well, I think I was looking Tree of Life. I guess
was
you
that
could
the last
count.
one? Because like
that was probably the last one.
Let's see how much I can. Because it was Triangle. Here, we'll see how much I can remember. Here we go. Triangle, then Teton, and then it was The Break Year. Then it was Parasite, then Shoplifters. Then I think it was The Square and I, Daniel Blake.
Yep.
And then I can't remember what was before that.
And it was Deepan, Winter Sleep, Blue is the Warmest Color, Amour, and then Tree of Life before that. So yeah, it was really Tree of Life. Yeah, which is it's been a while. It's been a bit.
It has been a while, and it was Malick. So like
yeah.
If anything, I feel like a Todd Haynes movie would make more sense than a Wes Anderson.
Agreed.
Astro City is one of the most anticipated. Yeah, no, it's not going to be for everybody, but it's going to be for us, as in me, the Wes Anderson fans.
Yeah.
And Tilda Swinton would make an amazing alien alongside Margot Robbie and Jeff Goldblum. It would be so fun. It'd be so fun. And Willem Dafoe as an alien. Like, are you kidding me? Okay. Anyways, this, I think it'll be good. I don't know about an awards contender though. Like, Wes Anderson's been weird with those. Anatomy of a Fall. So this is a new film from Justin Triet. And it's a woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and their blind son faces the moral dilemma as the sole witness. This sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I've not heard much about this one, interestingly, but the concept is a pretty fascinating one.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by it. It seems like it's like very much like a courtroom, like a chamber film, basically.
Yeah.
And we'll just be like very, I don't know, kind of like Saint Omer, I guess. Which like just a very like art housey European court film. Which like sure. The filmmaker hasn't done too much films like Sybil and In the Bed with Victoria, which both have around like threes on Letterboxd. Labatil, I think, is the other one. So like not the most acclaimed filmmaker. But I don't know. It still seems interesting. I'm
Yeah.
at least excited for this one. The length though is it's 2.5 hours, which
Yeah, that could pose a problem, especially
especially with
if
the chamber
you
film.
want more eyes on it. Like, I don't know if it's gonna get much appeal outside of the Cannes crowd, but
Yeah.
if a Cannes crowd like it, it could pick up some critical buzz and maybe go a bit further. But we'll see. We'll see
It
about this
also
one.
is starring Sandra Hüller, who's a pretty good actress. I only really know her from Tony Erdmann, where she plays the lead, but she's very
Okay.
good in Tony Erdmann. So that would also be fun because like I do like a lot of Sandra Hüller's work. I think she's also in I'm Your Man, which was Maria Schrader's
Right.
first
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know. I'm curious to see what she can do with the role. Because it does seem interesting. Also, she looks vaguely like Shiv Roy. Anyways, um.
To an extent. To an extent.
Now we have Monster, new film from
Yeah.
Hirokazu Koreeda, who did Shoplifters, which won the
Exactly.
Palm, as well as Broker recently, which was a bit of a flop as far as award season.
Yeah,
But
just didn't
yeah,
really go anywhere. But I wouldn't hold that against him too much. Like Shoplifters obviously won, was like very well received. So, and we do have a
yeah,
trailer for this one, which it looks interesting. Like I think this could be a sneak contender, especially since like the Palme d'Or, they don't really care about well, we just did this director, let's go for someone else. Because like Ruben
Jocelyn,
Austin won
yeah,
in 2016, and then again last year, Ken Loach as well has won twice in fairly recent memory. So
yeah,
like it's not too surprising to suggest that a director who just won could win again, and
yeah.
potentially this could be a contender.
And I could also see Neon picking this up, and we know the streak that
Exactly.
Neon's been on, right? I mean, like Parasite,
Yeah.
Titan, Triangle of Sadness. They've won the last three palms. And
Yeah.
Hirokazu Koreeda since his last movie over to Neon with Broker. So like I wouldn't be shocked if we see this going to
No.
Neon. It could hold the
No.
streak. Like it would kind of make sense. The trailer looks interesting. I really like Shoplifters. I really wasn't the biggest fan of Broker. But it also seemed with Broker that he was trying to emulate Shoplifters, and this does seem to be going in a different direction than those two films.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'd
So
agree with that. I agree with that. So
it seems much more interesting, and like he is trying something new, which I always like from a filmmaker. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about this one. As you said, I do think that this can be a bit of a sneak contender. Which is weird they even call it a sneak contender, considering it's from a person who won 5 years
well,
ago.
yeah, yeah. No, 100%.
But yeah, the Son of the Future. So
This
we
is maybe the
really,
one I've heard least about out of all of them in
yeah.
competition.
So it's by Nanni Moretti, and we know very little about the plot. It says the film's themes include the cinema, the circus, and the 1950s.
Which how vague could you get? Really? How vague could you get?
Yeah, I'm not really sure with this one. It's I don't know. We'll see if this vague plot
Yeah.
synopsis is going to be a very vague film, or if they just don't know that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible when the film, people behind the film are not giving you any information about it to sort of predict the quality or what sort of vibe it's going to even be like. So yeah, I think with this one, just acknowledge its existence, but we just don't know. Yeah, at this
Yeah,
stage.
and it's self-starring from Nanni Moretti, and
Yeah, which is
he
always
does
interesting.
like he has some pretty well-liked films. The Sun's Room from 2001, 3.8. Caro Diaro from 1993, 3.9.
Okay.
And then Mia Madre from 2015, 3.4. So like he has some well-liked stuff. And he
Hmm.
stars in almost all of his movies. So I'm definitely
Okay.
going to check some of them out. And I'm curious. I'm curious, and it doesn't seem like he makes these types of like psychological wandering Malik type movies. So I do think that this will be focused, and we just don't know that much
Yeah,
about it.
probably.
Like we don't even have a runtime yet, so I
No.
think we just don't have that much information. But I'm curious. I'm curious because this does seem like a very competent filmmaker behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and yeah, okay. Here is I'll just start here. This is my personal prediction to win the Palme d'Or. La Camera. It follows the travails of Arthur, an Englishman in Italy with a preternatural ability to connect with the land, and I think it's going to do stuff with like archaeology, and like I don't know. It seems very interesting. It seems like accessible, but also art housey. It's Josh O'Connor and Isabella Rossellini. So
Yeah, the cast is good. The cast is good. Yeah, and Neon's backing does show
yep,
that this film will at least be of good quality. Whether it will win the Palme d'Or, I'm not
yeah,
entirely sure. Like, I do think Neon Street does have to be ended at some point, so potentially
well,
that
right,
is this year that it does go to someone, a different distributor. But like, yeah, obviously, Le Pupille did very
yeah. I
well.
mean,
So
this is an
I mean, it didn't end up
Oscar-nominated
winning,
filmmaker.
but Oscar nominated exactly. So potentially there is a lot of potential there for this film. Neil's backing does fill me with confidence. I'm not entirely sure about the concept though. I don't know if it is the most sort of accessible concept, which, as I said, it's not always necessary. It can. They are sort of
Yeah.
more critically
Well, also we
minded,
just don't know this. I mean, it's
but
a sentence. We know a sentence about
it
this.
well exactly. Yeah. So
So
it could be more accessible. I mean, the cast is good, as I mentioned. So yeah, lots to look out for with this one. Lots to look out for with this one.
that's valid.
Well, yeah. Hang on.
My one of my favorite movies ever, Palme d'Or winner, sitting behind me. Yeah. But no, I mean Josh O'Connor, obviously also very good actor, right?
Yep.
It does list that this is going to be in Italian and
Okay.
English. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I
Um,
assume Italian will be the primary language. I don't know. It's
yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe a bit of both. Maybe a bit of
because
both.
it's set in Italy,
Yeah,
but Josh O'Connor's
that's
playing an Englishman,
with an
so
Englishman.
I
Yeah.
assume he's speaking English for part of it. So I don't know what the eligibility will be like for this as an international film,
Mm.
for like Oscar stuff. But I know I have a feeling that maybe this is Alice Rohrwacher's time because she also made him Happy as Lazaro, which has like a 3.9 letterbox. It was like really well acclaimed from 2018.
Yeah.
So like she's a well acclaimed feature filmmaker. She has, just got an Oscar nomination for short film. So I don't know. I feel like she's building a bit of career
Yeah.
buzz plus the neon
Maybe it
backing.
is a time. Yeah,
So
there's potential.
yeah. Okay. About dry grasses. And
Yeah.
listen, this is one of the
This
most
is
hyped about things this
yeah,
festival.
this is probably my pick. And like, yes, it is an easier choice. Again, this director did just win in 2014, if I remember correctly. Let's just look that up. Yeah, 2014 he won for Winter
Yeah.
Sleep. So like previous winner. This film just seems to have the most buzz around it. Like people are already talking about this for international feature at the Oscars, which is really strange because that is very far out. But yeah,
Yeah.
this just seems to have a lot of buzz around it. Therefore,
It's
why
great.
deny
Could
it?
be a hero or decision to leave, where it's like the early buzz thing that
It
doesn't
could
happen.
be. Yeah, it could be. But like, I don't know. I'd be backing it for now, based on the concept, based on what we know about the director, based on all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's I mean, we should mention Once Upon a Time in Anatolia, Winter Sleep, which won the Palm, The Wild Pear Tree, Uzak, like very, very good director. And yeah, like this could very easily be a thing. I definitely have my eye out on it. I'm very curious to see who will pick this up. It does feel like something that Neon would pick up.
Exactly,
So
Neon could pick up as well. So yeah, lots of
yeah.
potential for it.
In the premise, the film follows Samet, a young teacher who is finishing his 4th year of compulsory service in a remote village in Anatolia while hoping to be assigned to Istanbul. When he and his colleague Kenan, I'm not sure how to pronounce that,
Keenan,
are accused that feels like a very American way to pronounce that.
yes, probably.
Are accused of harassment by 2 female students. He loses all hope of escaping the grim life he seems to be stuck in, but his meeting with Nore, herself a teacher, may help him overcome his angst. It seems like it's going to be delving into lots of heavy topics of like
Yeah.
sexual assault and like a government and military and all of these types of things, which there's always a chance that when you have something like that it could be mishandled and that it might cause some controversy, some discourse that is unwanted. But
Potentially, but with a director like this and his
the
previous
filmmakers
track
handle
record,
topics like this
like
before very well. So
you should probably back him rather than bet against him. So yeah.
So no, this could absolutely be a big thing. Could get snubbed or be the big Cannes for it. Yeah, I mean, Cannes is like just like how Sundance is for documentaries. Cannes is like the breeding ground for international feature.
International. Yeah, yeah.
Which title of these do you think has the best Oscar chances? We'll probably talk about that
Probably,
towards the end.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There are a
Um,
couple options.
yeah, there's quite a few. This is a really good lineup, guy. Like this is
Yeah, yeah.
a really good lineup. Um, okay, so moving on to our next thing here. We got Last Summer. This is by Catherine Brylat. Now, if you aren't familiar with Catherine Brylat, I believe I'm going to double check myself, but I believe she did Fat Girl, which is
Okay,
a very, very good film. Um,
right.
and this film, it's about a lawyer, mother of two girls, welcomes into her home the 17-year-old son from her husband's first marriage, with whom she will have an affair.
Okay, okay.
So once
Interesting.
again, discourse will be caused with this, and yeah, this is the same director as Fat Girl, which
Right.
is very good. But yeah, so discourse will be had about this. It
Yeah.
seems very good, in my opinion. I trust this filmmaker. I like this filmmaker.
Yeah.
It seems very psychological. Very like it's gonna be balancing all these different themes of like power and different power struggles and dynamics and stuff. I know it seems very fascinating. I'm quite excited about it.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I'm slightly less familiar with. I'm not too familiar with the director, and I hadn't heard much about the concept beforehand. But yeah, definitely an interesting one. Definitely one that
Yeah.
could generate a lot of talk after the
Yeah, I,
festival.
I think I think there'll be lots of conversation. I don't know
Yeah.
how much of like a Palm contender or Oscars contender this will be.
No,
Probably
no.
not, based off of the director's track record and just this premise. But yeah, it seems interesting. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
You excited for Indiana Jones and Killers of the
Yeah.
Flower Moon?
I think
Yeah, we'll talk about
those
those
are the
later.
two. Yeah, those are the two that a lot of people are buzzed about. It
Yeah,
seems,
yeah,
which makes sense. I guess they're the two biggest at the festival.
yeah. No, for sure. Okay, so then we have the Pot de Fou, I believe is how you pronounce this, by Tran An Hung. I'll try my best to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Anyways, it stars Juliette Binoche, which love her, love Juliette Binoche. And yeah, so it's about Eugene, an esteemed cook who has been working over the last 20 years for Dodin, a fine gourmet. Growing fonder of one another, their bond turns into romance and gives rise to delicious dishes that impress even the world's most illustrious chefs. When Dodin is faced with Eugene's reluctance to commit to him, he decides to start cooking for her. I think that this movie is going to break me.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it
this,
does give me sort of quiet girl vibes away with a not like parent child, but like a romance. So yeah,
yeah,
about the sort of slow connection building up over time and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it
and like
just feels
they're
like
gonna do amazing metaphors with food.
yeah, exactly. Like this does sound like definitely something that could be both of our thing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
definitely
yeah,
something
as
to
I said,
check out.
Julie Binoche, amazing actress from like the Three Colors trilogy and Certified Copy, like all these things. So I trust her. It's also as it's Benoit I'm not gonna pronounce his name, but Benoit Megamel, who's another very good actor. He's in like The Piano Lesson, uh,
Okay,
which is a very good film. Or The Piano Teacher, sorry, not The Piano
good
Lesson.
teacher. Right.
Yeah, The Piano Teacher. I think it'll break me too, not the romance, but the food.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know. Like they're gonna do a bunch of metaphors with the food and how it connects to the romance and just like all these like
yeah,
hidden like romance, like kind of like what Phantom Thread does, which I love. Phantom Thread. Um, it's giving Phantom Thread vibes and like all these like just suppressive romance. Like that's my. I love seeing people just really like just be depressed about wanting to love somebody. It's
yeah. Sure, if that's a genre. Yeah,
yeah,
which I
that,
guess it is. I guess it is.
that's my favorite genre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, this seems very good. Hopefully it's a thing. Then we have Kidnapped by Marco Bellocchio. This is the story of Edgardo Montara, a young Jewish boy living in Bologna. Is it Bologna? Yeah. Is that how you say
I
it?
think it's
Because I know that's how you
Bologna.
say the food.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And let's just go with Bologna.
Bologna, Italy, in
Yeah.
1858, after being secretly baptized, was forcibly taken from his family to be raised as a Christian. His parents struggled to free their son, become part of a larger political battle that pitted the papacy against forces of democracy and Italian unification. Very political, giving Argentina 1985 vibes. But like, I don't know. It seems kind of interesting. Also, like Cairo Conspiracy, from last year,
Yeah.
which is like also just this kind of like political European type thing. This is like a very accomplished director who's been making movies since like the 1960s.
Yeah, that is what is really interesting about this director. Like, just constantly putting stuff out there. So yeah,
Yeah,
like
and like
maybe,
well-received
maybe
movies. There's like a 3.9. So like,
exactly. He's popular. He seems to be fairly consistent, and the stuff he does put out, obviously, since he's been making films since the '60s, are very, he sinks a lot of time and effort into them. So I'm sure this will be at least good.
yeah,
Maybe not, the biggest thing at the festival, the most talked about thing, but I'm sure with this we can at least expect a good film, which is
yeah. I
nice.
mean, he's gonna delve into themes of like religion and
Yeah,
stuff and
should be
parenthood.
tackling interesting stuff.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and this is here. I mean, I think this will connect very strongly with parents, probably.
probably.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I don't know. I think that this film has the potential to be, hitting very emotionally hard, but the premise doesn't immediately make me feel like this is just going to be like a really well universally loved thing.
No, no.
Bologna,
Bologna.
Bologna,
Bologna.
Bologna.
Bologna, probably, yeah.
We'll stop talking about it in like 30 seconds. Doesn't matter. Looks very interesting and good. In your last video, you don't like a lot of action movies. Thank God you did like John Wick. I mean, we liked it for the most part. We didn't really love
Yeah,
it.
we didn't. Yeah,
I think we gave it a 6 out of 10
Yeah,
or
which
5 out
is
of 10.
better than most action films, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
So, yeah,
We're snobs, so we don't really like
yeah,
that genre. But no, John Wick was fine. It was decent.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
now that you've all left, um, May December by Todd Haynes, probably my most anticipated film from this festival. Like even over
Yeah, and I mean, I remember we got that question earlier, which you think will be the most sort of Oscar contender. If you
this
ignore Killers of the Flower Moon, because that's out of competition, if you're just
long.
exclusively talking in competition, I think this will be the biggest one there. Like, I think it'll be bigger
Yeah,
than Asteroid City,
yeah,
bigger than any of the international potential contenders. Yeah, this just feels like it will be an Oscars contender, and it'll be very interesting to see it here. Like, I thought we'd have to wait a bit longer for it. Like, I
yeah.
thought this would definitely be a sort of Venice TIFF sort of thing.
I mean, yeah.
But no, we're getting it now, which is great. We'll get first
And,
reactions to it. We'll decide, is this an Oscar contender? Nice and early, which will be nice.
and listen, if you haven't heard of Todd Haynes, he's great. I only have 3 of his movies logged. I've seen way more. I'm just bad at Letterboxd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Carol, amazing. Like, my favorite movie of that year. Poison's great. I mean, The Velvet Underground, Far From Heaven got actress nominations. I'm Not There. Safe, like, he's a great director. Especially when he was working with like Oscar-winning actresses. Like, he gets actresses nominated. If nothing else, Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman are going to have.
Yeah, and like with a concept like this, it feels like star vehicles for those two. Maybe even Charles Melton as well could potentially see himself in the conversation. I think that's only if the film is really big, though. But yes, definitely.
It could be like I think this could be Todd Haynes' first director nomination. Honestly,
it could be. It could be. I think definitely acting. There's a lot of potential there. Screenplay potentially, and then director, picture, all of that kind of stuff could come after this.
Yeah.
Although I don't think this is winning the Palme d'Or. As I said, I just don't know if it fits the vibe they usually go for. Like, I think it'll be critically acclaimed. I just think there'll be more critically acclaimed stuff in competition. Which
so as
they will go
here, it delves into like very Julianne Moore being like essentially a pedophile. And it's 20 years after their notorious tabloid romance gripped the nation. A married couple buckles under the pressure when an actress arrives to do research for a film about their past. So Julianne Moore was like this like actress who ended up dating like a 16-year-old or something at the time, Charles Melton. And then it was this big tabloid thing. And then they basically like, went away. And then now it's like 20 years later and they're like still together. And now they're like, both adults. And then Natalie Portman is going to play Julianne Moore when about this whole situation. So it seems fascinating. It seems like it's going to really delve into the psychological thing. I don't. So like with something like obviously this is going to have lots of controversy around it because it's dealing with a relationship, hence the title. But I don't have a that much of a problem with showing bad people
No,
doing bad things.
yeah, I
As
don't have
long
a
as it's
problem with
not
it
like
as long as it's handled in
so
the right
heavy.
way. Yeah, and I'm sure the discourse will be there, but weirdly, I think a lot of times the Academy just don't really consider those kind of things, like when it's controversy
Yeah, I
surrounding
mean,
the
well,
actual
you can
film.
maybe argue the whale. You can maybe argue the whale kind of, but like
The
that ain't
whale, I
really.
guess, the whale also wasn't very well
I
credited
mean, it did
received
win
anyway,
2
so
Oscars, so never mind, I guess.
yeah, but it also may just not have gone into picture because it just wasn't very
Wasn't that
good
good.
enough. So,
Um,
like, I don't know if controversies like this will actually play that much of a factor. It'll be interesting to
yeah,
see how much
because
sort
like
of
I think,
momentum
and this is just my
anti
own
for.
personal take on that.
Oh,
Like, I don't think that
yeah.
showing something means that you're like condoning it. Like, I don't think like
No,
Paul Thomas Anderson showing a relationship like this, um, like like with Licorice Pizza means that he's like being like, oh, this is a good thing. I think that he was just exploring bad, not bad, but even just like these characters and why they were drawn to this type of relationship, and doing this just like psychological look at why this even happened in the first place.
yeah,
Which I think is perfectly fine. It isn't like he made a film being like pedophilia is good. Everybody go do
yeah.
it.
And let's
Um,
also not forget that Carol is also a film about an older woman in a
yeah,
sort of relationship with a
yeah,
young, and it's perfectly handled and it's a beautiful film. So he's
yeah.
done it before. Why would he not be able to handle it well again?
Um, because she has lots of money and is famous.
Yes, yeah,
If you got money, you can
probably.
basically do everything.
Funny, funny.
Capitalism. Anyways, so this film seems pretty great. I'm very excited for it. I'm so excited for it to get like a 90 on Metacritic or something coming out of Cannes.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's not like
yeah.
really bad. Anyways, very excited. Firebrand. This is an interesting one. So all we know is it follows Queen Catherine Parr and Henry VIII's marriage, which I'm not too versed on this type of history. It didn't end well, right?
Well, which one was she? Was she
Oh,
the
I don't know.
which
Google up. You're British. You should know.
Catherine?
But anyways, it's Lisa
Um,
Vikander, Jude Law. Seems
yes.
interesting.
Oh, she was the last one. Oh no, this one ended fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
this was a good one.
this was one where Henry died. So
Oh,
like Catherine
interesting.
Parr just
History
so.
spoilers.
Oh well, yeah, I mean,
Um,
sure. But yeah, no, I like
okay,
historical
interesting.
films. This feels like it could be my sort of thing, especially if it is maybe a sort of leaning into more thriller type territory. Hopefully,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like
It
this
seems
was
like it's
one that
going
is
more
really
psychological
piquing my
thriller.
interest.
This is also by Kareem Ainuz or Ainuz, however you pronounce his name, but he did Invisible Life in 2019, which is very good. It's a
Okay.
very, very good movie. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what he can do with this type of thing. And I mean, yeah, Alicia Vikander, great actress. I'm hoping that this goes more the Corsage route.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, even Corsage played on thriller elements somewhat.
Yeah,
So
no, I
yeah,
adored Corsage. I
yeah,
really
definitely
loved it.
one of the best ones last year, 100%.
Absolutely. So, yeah. I know I'm excited for this, and Jude Law as well. This would be a media role for him. I know. I think this will
Yeah,
be quite fun. I think this will be quite fun, very interesting, very fascinating. Like I've heard like horror associated with this. Like I don't know, it seems fun.
yeah, yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I haven't watched the whale because it is disappointed if Brendan Fraser doesn't jump out of his clothes. Okay,
I mean, he doesn't jump.
now listen. This is gonna sound crazy, but I don't think that you'll be that disappointed.
No, exactly. I think you could get what you want out of that.
Like genuinely, that's said as a joke, but
Yeah,
like it kind of happens.
kind of to
Like
an
kind of.
extent. I feel like that moment in Free Willy. I've not seen Free Willy, but I can tell what moment it would be where he jumps out of the enclosure. I feel like there is a parallel. There is a parallel.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, no
Huh.
spoilers, of course.
Anyways,
But
um, okay, here we go. The Old Oak. This is Ken Loach's new film. I love Ken Loach. Ken Loach is one of my favorite filmmakers. Actually, he did I, Daniel Blake, which is one of my favorite films of all time. This is a really long synopsis. Jesus.
yeah,
But yeah, he makes really, really solid just like analyses of like the working class and just
social realist films.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah, very social realist, very grounded, very minimalist. But basically, just skimming this, it's basically about the Old Oak Pub, which is like this like big like center grounding community place for this for this like community, and then it seems like it's like potentially like on the decline and potentially gonna close, and then it's about these like two communities who are now like kind of like against each other with like Syrian refugees who are now here, and then they're like going up against like these like the British people are already there, and then they're like contesting the area, and then they want to try to save the pub, and then they have to like come together. Like I don't know, like it sounds very like a cliche type story, but Ken Loach will handle it in a really really nuanced way because he's Ken Loach and he's like a pretty amazing filmmaker. Also did Cass back in the 1960s, so like he's another filmmaker who's been like working forever. But like
and like I mentioned earlier, Ken Loach has won fairly recently, like I Daniel Blake won in 2006, I think, or maybe in 2004 again.
2016 for I Daniel Blake.
Yeah, but then the one
before. So he's won twice.
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, so like maybe he could win again. There's nothing really stopping him. They clearly do like Ken Loach and like his style. I'm assuming it will be the same sort of style. He's been making the same sort of films since the 60s.
Yeah.
So
no,
I doubt he'll change.
Amazing Ken lineup. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And this was another one. Wasn't expecting it here, but glad to see it.
But no, I'm hyped about it. Like I said, I love Ken Loach, and like no, he's gonna deal with like refugee stuff, and then
there's lots you can tackle with the concept.
It's such a Ken Loach story, and I'm so excited for her to see him just like dig into this, and just really have fun examining all of this like class struggle and all this stuff. Anyways, love Ken Loach. Very excited about this thing. Yeah, maybe he could win again. Who knows? Yeah. Like he is the type of person to do that. So yeah. All right. Bano and Adama. This is by Ramata Tulaisi. I'm gonna hope that I got that correct. Okay. So, anyways, this is about young adults Banel and Adama. Live in a small remote village in northern Senegal. Adama is introverted and discreet, while Banel is passionate and rebellious. They are destined to love each other with an eternal love. But the couple will be put to the test by the conventions of the community, because where they live, there is no place for passions and even less for the chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, this
quite a vague concept, I will say. Quite a vague concept, but like, I'm sure we'll be delving into some interesting themes.
Feels like Vilna would have a very strong sense of place.
Yes, which is always good. Always helps you, get into the world of the film. And it's an interesting setting. Like I personally never seen a film set in a small village in northern Senegal before. So like always good to see. Like new.
This is also directorial debut. So
directorial debut in Cannes. Wow, that is.
The people at Cannes very clearly saw something in this. And saw a very strong voice behind this movie to get it in. I mean, who had the directorial debut last year at Cannes? Somebody by the name of Charlotte Wells. Who made one of the best films ever, titled After Sun. So like, I'm not saying that this is gonna be After Sun, but like when Cannes sees somebody and is confident enough to be like, which is like Cannes like an auteur. Festival. It's built around auteurs and like established directors and but like they get into Cannes as their debut film, someone to watch, someone to watch.
100%.
I think it's really hard to judge though as far as like awards to like this.
Even if it has quality, it's very hard to judge.
This could win the Palm and win the Oscar for International Feature, or it could just like not ever, people forget about it in 2 months.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, 2 left, and one I'm very interested to talk about is Perfect Days by Wim Wenders.
Yes. This is maybe the most bizarre concept for any of the Cannes lineup, I will say.
So I'm just going to go and read it. So the film will be set in a public restroom that is part of the real-life urban renewal project known as the Tokyo Toilet Project, which involves the creation of 17 public bathrooms in key locations in the Japanese capital, with designs by world-renowned Japanese architects such as Tadao Ando and Sao Fujimoto. Each of the restrooms has a forward-leaning futuristic design. One is made entirely of glass with walls that fill instantly with an opaque gas as the user enters, with individual functions and flourishes characteristic of their acclaimed designers. So they gave us nothing about the plot.
Yeah, they just thought a little history lesson or a little lesson about the Tokyo Toilet Project. which is very interesting. Like it's such a bizarre thing, like just really bizarre. And
Yeah, but like,
you know,
listen, Wim Wenders,
yeah,
director of Wings of Desire in Paris, Texas, hasn't really done much since. Made a lot of smaller stuff that like not too many people. I mean, he made some stuff in like the '90s and stuff, which is well liked. But like in like recent 10 years, I feel like he's been kind of off the map. So like getting back into
yeah.
Cannes in competition,
With a
and
film like this, is very yeah.
yeah, it seems like this is like the definition of a passion project. Like
Yeah.
definition of a passion project.
Not even that,
So
it just suggests like this is just he saw this, was inspired, and then thought, yeah, I'll make it. I'm Wim Wenders, I
yeah,
can. So,
which like
which is very
ton
cool.
of
Which is very
inventors.
cool. I have
Like
no idea what this film will actually be like in terms of quality,
yeah.
or even in terms of plot. Like, is it just going to be set in one toilet potentially?
Well,
Like
looks like
that is
they're
a
outside
genuine
here.
potential.
Looks like they're
Yeah,
outside.
it does, but they could be just outside the toilet block. You never know. You never know. So I don't know. This is a very weird film. It could be in contention for the Palme d'Or, but it could
Yeah.
also just not be good as well. So yeah,
I
interesting
don't know.
films.
I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I mean,
I'm intrigued to
Wim
say the
Wenders is
least.
a
Yeah.
great filmmaker. Like he's pretty good at making the movies. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. I also don't know. Do we know language details? So it's gonna be in Japanese.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
So
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess it makes sense.
Well, no, it makes sense. I just didn't
Yeah.
know since he was a German
Yeah.
film. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm genuinely pretty excited about this. I love when like just auteur, just like filmmakers, just I don't know, just like are able to just do their thing, just
Yeah.
be creative, do whatever they want. Uh. Okay. Here we go. Last one. Jeunesse is what I'm going to say.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is in the letterbox list. Avant-Garde Underground is by Wong Bing, who makes like 800-minute long documentaries.
Okay.
Like really long documentaries. So he has this one in competition, then he has another doc outside of competition. But yeah, it's about just like the worker district in Shanghai, and he's just probably going to do this as like very deep and like just very. What's the opposite of concise? Indulgent.
Yes, indulgence probably.
Well done, well thought. Synonyms.
I don't know. All the words. All the words.
Like just yeah, very very deep look into this one particular space, and like I don't know, it'll probably be interesting. Like I've never seen a Wong Bing film. I know there are a lot of people who really like his work, and like he made a lot of movies. It made a lot of really long movies. But I don't know, it could be interesting. Very interesting that this is. It looks like 2 documentaries in competition between this and the 4 daughters, the docufiction type thing, verbose. That's a solid word. That's a solid word. But yeah, I don't know. This seems interesting. Seems very very interesting. We don't have a runtime on this one.
No, again, this is one of the ones I know less about.
Yeah.
So it's hard to make a judgment about these ones if you don't even know much of the details about it, or you're not really familiar with the director's previous work. So it could be interesting. It could be a thing. Who knows?
For sure. But let's just briefly say what are some of what we think will be the top contenders here. So I know we mentioned La Chimera and About Dry Grasses. I think that like La Chimera is my 1. About Dry Grasses would be my 2 as of now.
Yeah, I might even just reverse that, to be honest. Yeah. I'd also throw Monster out there. I mean, we mentioned that as maybe sneak contender.
I agree.
I definitely think that has potential to be something here.
And I also feel pretty good about Fallen Leaves being like
Fallen Leaves, and if you want to throw one more thing out, maybe The Old Oak as well. Ken Loach, veteran at Cannes, so potentially that could be a thing as well.
And like you may say, okay, well, what about May December? What about like those types of things? They just don't. They just win the Palme.
Yeah,
they just don't win the Palme. As far as Oscar stuff though, May December. Like
May December.
And I feel like also we could kind of throw out Perfect Days as a potential Palme thing. Like if it's amazing and it's just
if it's amazing,
Wim Wenders is back, then like sure. Then like
100%.
So yeah. But anyways, this is a pretty great lineup. We can just briefly talk about a couple of other things. I'll take this off screen. Obviously, like how much do we really need? Like Killers of the Flower Moon, obviously.
Killers, Indiana Jones.
We learned Killers of the Flower Moon. So this is Martin Scorsese's new movie. If you're unaware,
Yeah.
4 hours long, which is
Yeah,
a choice.
which is yes, longer than Irishman. Longer than Irishman. It's getting
Yeah.
longer and longer.
Silence was long. He's getting longer and longer.
Yeah,
Next time he's gonna make a 5 hour long movie.
probably.
But yeah, so that's we'll see what goes. Like obviously it's probably gonna be good. It'll be well made. It's Scorsese. Like it'll probably be an Oscars thing. Who knows? I don't know. I did slide it a bit down on my Best Picture list when I learned it was 4 hours long. It would make it I think the
Yeah.
third longest Best Picture nominee ever.
I
Behind,
don't
like,
know if
Gone
that
with the
is
Wind.
really a problem though.
And
To be honest, I
I
think if it's
understand that's
good,
like
it's
long.
in. So
Like
yeah,
it's yeah. I don't know. It was crazy. Indiana Jones as well. Like, listen, it's
yeah,
a
we know
potential
about that.
blockbuster.
Like we've seen the trailer for it. We know all the details. We pretty
Yeah,
much know what it's about
James
at this point.
Mangold. Like,
Yeah,
could this be the Top Gun? Like, because this movie's probably gonna make a lot of money. It's probably gonna make $1 billion. Let's be
maybe.
honest.
Yeah. Well, you'd hope.
Yeah,
You'd
like
hope.
it'll probably make a bit. Like, just think about it. It's probably gonna make $1 billion,
Hopefully, I'm not entirely confident this film will be a
which is weird
massive
because
success.
you're like, you have
Yeah,
Raiders
I
of the
think
Lost
it'll make
Ark.
money, and obviously,
Like,
Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of my favorite films of all time. I'm a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull apologist. Like, I
yeah,
should be really
you're
hyped for this film.
You're insane about Indiana Jones.
Yeah, pretty much, but I'm worried about it. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it being it can is any testament to its quality though. Like, you
sure. I
know,
mean, they premiered like F9 there or something. So like,
yeah. So whatever, whatever.
I agree, but like, it's still interesting. Like, I'm curious. I'm curious. Like, if anything's gonna be the Top Gun, because like we don't have to have a Top Gun every year, right? We don't.
Hmm.
But if anything is going to be the Top Gun this year, if we do have another one, it'll be
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yes, probably because it's not going to be like Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One. I don't. Is that the title? I think I banged that title. To be fair, but yeah, like it's probably going to be Indiana Jones. If it's going to be anything, my money is on the fact that the Top Gun is just a once in a sort of decade type thing, and I don't know if we're going to get that
Yeah,
again this
I
year
agree.
or in the next, as I say, decade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
great.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Yeah, like the thing, like we're gonna try to put this in theaters, and like I know Avatar was like 3 hours long, but that's also Avatar, right? Like I don't know how much they're gonna respond to this, especially with it being like in the fall where it's very crowded with these types of things. Like I know it's Scorsese and I know it's DiCaprio, but like still, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I don't think this strikes me as a flop. Like I
look
could
at
see
that.
other like Napoleon potentially flopping that kind of stuff. Best Indie won
Our
5 Oscars. Okay,
our
interesting.
friend our
Yeah,
friend of the channel, Jack from
interesting.
Rockfall, really.
My worry is that it's not going to be good. So
Yeah, okay,
let's
but
get
that
past
makes
that
sense
hurdle.
for you because you're like this is like your most anticipated movie of the year. So like
Exactly. I want to go into it with low expectations. I haven't
right.
liked the trailers. I haven't liked the concept. I think time travel, if you're introducing it into a franchise at this point, it usually ends up shit like the MCU Harry Potter. When they try and introduce time travel, it's just a gimmick and it's just a plot point. So I don't know.
Was that
I've been
Prisoner of
skeptical this whole
Azkaban
time.
shade I just heard?
Pardon?
Was that Prisoner of Azkaban shade?
Yeah, I don't think time travel is used well in that film at all. So, you know, like I like Avengers Endgame as well. Time travel's so badly used in it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going into it with low expectations, but I'm hoping for the best. I still
Yeah.
want my first Indiana Jones film in theaters to be a good experience. So that's so.
Yeah. Also, Jack, there's no way you're going to bed this earlier. Like I swear to God, there's no way. Anyways, yeah, they always show. I mean, yeah, Top Gun was at Cannes last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a thought. Just a thought. So was Elvis, weirdly. So there's that. There's Steve McQueen has a World War II documentary. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's the
like
thing.
I think that just makes it certain that Blitz probably
Nothing.
won't come out this year. I think that's what that suggests.
I don't
to
even
me.
think that's like for sure, but like
I don't think it's for sure. I think it's getting less and less likely though that Blitz is coming out this year.
yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Is there any? You just woke up. Actually, think that's also a lie. I was anyways. Just out here lying all the times. Yeah, no, I mean Mangold, like, yeah, with Ford v Ferrari, with Logan,
Yeah.
like he got Logan in the screenplay. Just imagine how like insane that is. Logan got adapted screenplay.
Yeah, that is the one thing that's filling me with confidence. Like, if you're going to take out Spielberg, James
Yeah.
Mangold ain't a bad.
And Harrison
Ain't
Ford's
a bad
getting
person.
Emmys hype right now, so like he's gonna be on
He
the
is.
award
He
circuit.
is.
Like I'm just saying, like there is a world like the Emmys are gonna line up around, like Emmy nominations will be lining up around the release of Indiana Jones. They'll be like doing campaigning. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there is a
No.
path for this movie.
There is. I just think it could. There is also a path that it's not good and a box office bomb, and I could see that as well. So like,
Yeah.
which would
I
just
don't think it's gonna bomb though. I genuinely think that this could be like the highest grossing movie of the year. Like, genuinely.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, maybe not
Interesting.
Mario, but second highest. Anyways,
Yeah.
I think if that's all you got, if that's all we have to
I
discuss
think
here,
that's the big
um,
stuff. Yeah, there's a Wim Wenders documentary as well. That's
oh yeah,
just
Bill
worth
Benders, I think
mentioning.
it's a doc.
I
Yeah.
guess it's worth mentioning, but yeah, that is most of the main stuff covered.
Also, I'm gonna disappear from the internet and do
Yeah,
something that
you've gone really, you've rested your whole reputation on this film being good.
that
So
is, I'll do something that will get me. Never mind.
yeah,
It's not
I
gonna be
don't
good.
know.
It's not gonna
It
be
won't
good.
be good. It won't be a good week if Oppenheimer is good and is a
Well,
box office
Oppenheimer, I
success.
think, is maybe getting pushed. So I don't know.
Well,
Little
yeah, if that does
Christopher
get
scared.
pushed, that will
Little
be.
Christopher scared
I
of
don't want it
Barbie.
to get pushed though. I want a war. I want a
No,
war between film
yeah,
bros and
normal
Barbie
people.
stan. Yeah,
Competent individuals. No, sorry if
sure.
you're an Oppenheimer fan. Um,
Yeah, I want a
okay.
fully
Anyways,
fledged war on that day.
it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. I still want to do a like parody of Before Sunrise that takes place in an AMC theater on the day that Oppenheimer and Barbie get released, and like
You've
one
mentioned
person's
this.
going to everyone
You've
first.
mentioned this.
Like I think that would be so funny.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good work, sure.
Anyways, that's Can. We'll be
That
doing
is good.
plenty more coverage. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be seeing Barbie. Sorry, just have to interrupt. Thank you. I'm going to be seeing Barbie 3 times opening weekend, and if Oppenheimer also comes out that weekend, I'm going to buy a ticket for Barbie and then go into Oppenheimer. So
That is borderline obsessive.
I
I
want
will
to make
be
sure that it
I will be
wins.
buying one ticket for Oppenheimer, one ticket for Barbie, and seeing them both like a normal film fan.
So many of them, Simon.
Oh
I think
yes.
it's going to do very, very well at the box office. I think Barbie's going to do very well. Like normie friends of mine know about it. Like people who are like aren't
Yeah,
into
I know.
movies.
Everyone knows about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Honestly,
everyone's
bringing
like,
out those character posters with the best piece of marketing
oh
I've
yeah,
seen this
and doing that,
already.
allowing people to make their own posters for
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
their
saying. Yeah, those character posters. Yeah,
I
yeah.
would be honestly surprised. I know. I think this is gonna listen. I know things about the script. Like it's gonna be at least good. I think critics are at least gonna like it.
I
Like
could see it being divisive though. I think
I
there
could
is
see
a.
it being
I don't think it'll be
divisive.
negative. I think there'll be a lot of people who love it, and there could be a decent number of people who just
Like
completely
I
write
just
off.
everything that we saw in that trailer, I think is like 20, like first 20 minutes of the movie. Like I genuinely
Yeah,
think
no, I'd agree. I'd agree. Yeah, I
like
don't
we're gonna
think.
get really interesting. We're gonna get really, really interesting here. I know. I think it's gonna be pretty great. I trust Greta with my life. So
Yeah,
we
sure.
anyways, that's all. Thank you everybody for watching. Appreciate it. And yeah, stick around. We'll be doing more Can coverage. Actually, during Can, we are going to be probably doing like daily videos about everything going on at Can. Daily, if not every other day. So similar to what we did during Venice and TIFF last year. We're gonna be doing a lot of vids. So stick around for that. And more Oscars predictions, a bit of Emmys predictions, lots of fun stuff coming up. But until then, thank you, everybody.
Goodbye.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.
And goodbye.